This is one of the cooler new rifles, in my opinion, introduced this year. This is the Geissele King Hunter in the 7mm backcountry. You know, it's notable for a couple reasons. One, the 7mm backcountry, which we've talked about a fair bit, is sort of the hottest new cartridge introduction of the year. A lot of interest in it, a lot of questions and speculation around it. And two, you know, Geissele, this is their first ever bolt action rifle. You know, if you're not familiar with the company, they make kind of best-in-class products for AR weapon systems and really great replacement triggers for all kinds of different firearms, and they make really good gas guns. Well, now they have gotten into the bolt-action market, and they've done it in a really impressive way. This rifle is based on a stock from Manners. That's one of my favorite stocks. It's carbon fiber stock. It's in their long range hunter line, and you know, made it to that is this two-lug bolt action that Geissele has that's operating really smoothly, and you know, they pair together in just a really nice way. And then it's got this sort of medium contour barrel on it. So this King Hunter is, you know, unlike some of the other 7mm backcountry rifles we've been reviewing from companies like Proof and Seekins and Horizon and Fierce, which are all really optimized for like lightweight mountain hunting scenarios. This is more of a middleweight rifle. Probably weighs in around 8 pounds, and then you know, scope it up and put a can on it. You know, you're going to get up in that 10.5 pound range, which is, you know, kind of a nice traditional hunting weight rifle. So for the person interested in the 7mm backcountry, you know, that high pressure, high velocity round, this is a good option. You know, if that ultralight type rifle system isn't exactly what you're looking for. Among the things that we've really noted about this rifle in terms of how smooth the action are is the coating that they use on this. So they call it their nano weapon coating, is just really slick and smooth and helps that bolt glide back and forth just beautifully in the raceway. On top of that, they've got a roller pin pivot back on the bolt shroud there, which helps smooth out the force required to cock the rifle. And so if if we dry fire it there and you lift that up, it really is a very kind of easygoing, smooth action. It's one that we've been very impressed with. You know, as a long action, you know, we've got this MDT long action magazine, sort of a 30-06 size magazine. This one actually ships with a PMag, a Magpul PMag, but of course in all the excitement of the gun test, it's gone missing somewhere in the mix. But I have these mags for another 7 backcountry, and of course they swap right in, so that's kind of enhances the versatility of this system as well. The action comes with a couple sections of pick rail on top for mounting an optic. You can see that the loading port is nice and kind of wide open there, so that gives you kind of easy access to getting into it. What else do we have? The barrel is threaded for suppressor. We've got this KGM R30K up there, which has a flow-through design, mitigates some of the recoil, does a really nice job of that. And of course, it has a Geissele trigger. It's got one of their 700 pattern triggers. It's a 2-stage trigger, and it's been working extremely well for us. In terms of the performance of this rifle, you know, we've been very pleased with it. There are just a handful of loads in the 7 backcountry available currently, and typically the one that's been shooting the best for us in most of the rifles is Federal's 175 grain fusion tipped. One of the things kind of nice about this is that this thing is just hammered with one of the other loads, the Federal 168 Barnes LRX. You know, that load has turned in 5-shot groups averaging 0.558 inches, which is really, you know, fine precision. The accuracy protocol we have doesn't really pay attention to 5-shot averages. We look at 20-shot ags, and the 20-shot aggregate on this is just under an inch at 0.98 inches. And the mean radius, which is the metric that we really care about, is an impressive 0.28 inches. So with a mean radius under 0.3, and you know, having these bullets step out of this 20-inch barrel at 3,051 feet per second, it brings a lot of firepower to the party. And really, so what you end up with in this 7 Backcountry is a round optimized for short-barreled rifles that are suppressed, that will outperform any other 7 mag out there. So this little guy here will outshoot, in terms of velocity, a 7 PRC, 7 Rem mag, 28 Nosler, in a really handy little nimble package. So this is Geissele's first foray into the bolt action market. I think they've done just a heck of a job with this. We've been shooting this quite a bit. Everybody who's evaluated it has been really pleased and happy with its performance. And you know, this ushers in a whole new chapter, not just for the 7 Backcountry, but also for Geissele. Of course, we don't just cherry pick our data here with the accuracy stuff. You know, we kind of record everything here. So for instance, I've got targets here that were shot with this rifle with the 170 grain terminal ascent, which is one of the kind of the main loads that Federal is rolling out with. And you can see when we overlay the 5-shot groups here, we get this little cluster here of 20 shots, which is pretty nice. It has an ES of 1.6 inches. You can see that one out there that kind of through that. The rest of the 20 shots are in that nice little cluster. Really, that mean radius figure, 0.41 inches. For a hunting rifle, hunting application, that's really fine performance. So, you know, whether we've been shooting those 168 Barnes LRXs through this, the 175 Fusion tips, which are also shot well, or the 170 terminal ascent, the Geissele has really performed quite well with all of them. They're, you know, depending on sort of how you like to hunt, what you like to hunt with, I think any of the options that Federal has launched in the 7BC will do well in this platform. And you know, that just speaks to the quality of the rifle and what Geissele has accomplished here. So that's good news. All right, well, of course, the most fun part of these reviews is getting to shoot the guns a little bit. I'm actually gonna try it with the Barnes out there. Typically I've been doing the sort of the range work with that Fusion tip because it's been shooting so well. And you know, I don't have the the zero settled on this, but you know what? We're pretty flexible here, so we're gonna kind of figure this out as we go. I've got one target at like 660 yards out there. We'll see what it does. I'm gonna dial my dope for the 175s, which is, I think, 3.4 if memory serves. You can see how kind of slick that is going back. Now, one thing that's interesting is that the magazine latch on this, if I push this up, this isn't the magazine that it comes with, it will kind of catch on there. And that's not an unusual kind of design feature, but with the polymer mag that it ships with, you know, I haven't had that issue at all. So that's just something to be aware of, actually with any AICS magazine that you might shoot, that, you know, the mag that it comes with, you know, it might be kind of tuned for that specific magazine, but if you go to swap with a different style, you can have an issue with that mag catch height. Again, that's not the fault of the rifle. You know, there's just you know, it's different specs that companies are held to. It's just something to kind of be aware of. This has this nice little 2-position safety here, Remington 700 style safety. Flick forward for on. Let's adjust my parallax and let me see how close I can get. Boom! Cruised right over the target. I'm not surprised, given the fact this is a lighter and faster bullet. And so, oh. It also helps with the mag catch if you actually seat the magazine in all the way. So let's do that. So now we're checked and good there. See, and there's that issue with the mag being up. All right. Let's see, where did my target go? Come down a couple tenths. Boop, boop. Nice, just a little bit low. I think I have to come up 1 more tenth on that. There we are. And third time is a charm. You know, one thing that's nice about this rifle, you can see using the bag on this post kind of braced up behind it. I've got the little thumb shelf in here for control. This is actually a very controllable rifle. I can get a little bit of backwards pressure with this vertical grip in there, a little bit of support from my trigger hand thumb with my hand braced here and kind of cradling the top of the scope. It gets extremely steady. It's a very effective way to shoot from this sort of unsupported field expedient position using the Game Changer here with the Get Light fill, so it's lightweight, handy, but gives good stability. And boom, impact. Love that. So that's the Geissele King Hunter in action. That's with these lovely Barnes 168 LRX, great hunting bullet, and this platform shoots lights out. So yeah, I think Geissele is going to have a lot of interest in this. I think they're going to sell a bunch of these, and hopefully there are going to be a bunch of new Geissele bolt action fans out there. So we'll see.